What up YouTube, Barcode here, bringing you another Heir of Light video. This video is going to be about nat 4s to focus on because we're not all whales, right? Just a quick note, I am back from my vacation. I hope you enjoyed my pre-recorded videos, the count reviews, and also my monthly progression. And I will get back on schedule. I will be streaming Wednesday night and actually Saturday night as well. So make sure to look at that 10 p.m. Central on both of those nights. Okay, so what I want to talk about today is there is a tier list out there and it's very accurate. For the most part, you know, there's people that will debate some things on it. It's not my tier list. I think it was created by Oric, and it's very good and it's very thought out and time taken out. So definitely give him praise on that. There's a lot of people that ask me about what nat 3s or nat 4s to build. Honestly, I mean, nat 3s, there's a handful, right? We've talked about them, like Gretel, Dark Wiggly, Water Moria for PvE, you know, Dark Dunk, Light Dunk, whatever the case may be, right? The problem with nat 3s is there's no potentials. You can't, and some nat 3s you can't even awaken to the 5th awakening, which is hard because you don't get the gear after that, right? So I hope eventually every nat 3 will be able to be awoken to the 5th level, because it's cheaper and it's also easier to transcend than the level 70, and it's something that free-to-play players look for. You know, that's something that everybody wants. But what I'm going to talk about is nat 4s. So nat 4s have potentials for the first level. They don't have the transcending potentials like nat 5s do. So, you know, maybe along the line they can have transcending potentials, maybe Gameville, but maybe weaker ones, right, than a nat 5. Okay. Another thing is every nat 4 should have a relation with some kind of character. I feel like, you know, nat 3s, no, not so much, because it's nat 3s, they're easier, whatever. I'm going to talk about nat 4s, okay? I'm going to try to go by every single element just to see, you know, what you maybe should build if you starting getting dupes of everything. And I'll go with that, and I'll start with fire first. Speed is king, okay? And I don't have the ability yet to test these things, so take my opinion with a grain of salt. But I do think a lot, and I think too much sometimes, and I talk too much sometimes, okay? However, speed is king, and every speed-based nuker I enjoy a ton, because it's more skills. That's what you want with your nuker, you know, more ultimates, etc. Ultimates, third skill, right? Fire Kume. Now, she was a staple in Omen back in the day, but her relationship with Hyde, having 100% attack buff, having damage over time, you could build her for Omen and you could build her for PvP. So if you're starting to get a ton of dupes of Kume, then that may be somebody that you want to build. Fire Griselda, an amazing healer with a res. Now the res is on a second skill, so maybe if they change that to a third skill, I don't think they will, maybe because it's a nat 4, because nat 5s should be better, right? But it's a nat 4 character, and it's all defense based. She's defense based. She has a defense buff for the whole team. Heal is based off of defense. Her revives on the second skill, and she has immunity. So a great character to build as a healer. Fire Lara, a ranged damage dealer, damage over time, great for Omen, and that's it, right? I mean, maybe for some tower invasion, possibly, and element dungeon for the ranged, but she has damage over time for the first skill and damage over time over the second skill. Huge, and it's two different ones, so fire and dark, right? So two different damage dealing, and then her passive applies fire every time, 50% chance, sorry, when you do a skill. So very good damage dealer to have. Fire Charlotte, I'd build every Fire Charlotte if I had the resources to. Very good character, ignore defense character on the third skill. Fire Enoch, an amazing AoE character, definitely should be someone you should be building. Area of effect on every single skill, right? And it's huge. That's what's in meta right now, and you really do need it. And he hits hard, so easy to transcend a level 70, easy to awaken, so definitely build. Fire Torhino, if you're into tower invasion, this is somebody that you might want to theory craft because of the buffs that have been recently added to the game for tower invasion. Torhino, I feel like, is a good candidate for a tower invasion defensive character only, okay? But once I'm planning on building him at some point. Now let's get into water. So water, I bring up Heir. Okay, he is one of the original masters in the game. Heir can be good, and the reason being is of his passive with Heir. Now, with Heir is an easy, probably one of your first level 70 transcended nat 5s in the game, because you can combine for him every month. That's if you're free to play, not a whale. But Heir can be good just because of this passive, right? He doesn't have ignore defense. It's just a defense break, attack based monster, right? You can build him for more crit damage over crit rate and gear because of his self crit rate buff. So he could be good. If you are getting tons and tons of dupes and can get him to level 70, then you might as well. Watakume, another speed-based damage dealer, which I do like because of Hide. And Hide can be a great tank, and also you could run with other hides, you know, like DPS element hides. You know, one speed nuker, one big nuke, right? So, Fire Kume, I mean, I just like speed-based characters. Definitely someone that you can think about building. Bella, if you're getting dupes of Bella, another speed nuker, which I actually prefer over Kume's because of the self skill gauge increase, and she has a multi-hit of 5. Now, the damage modifiers I don't know for sure at level 70, but she has... It just depends on your team comp. I mean, if you have a Sphinx, for example, like such as like 4'S, right? She gets an attack increase of 120%. So it really just depends on your team comp, but you have to play the game how it plays you. If you're getting dupes of one character, a ton of them, why not? Why not build it to level 70? You're gonna, if you have nat 5s galore, right, and they're all level 60, a level 70 nat 4 is gonna way overperform any of the nat 5s. Water Charlotte, like I said, build every Water Charlotte. Charlottes are absolutely disgusting for nat 4s. Ignore defense. If you get it's a multi-hit on the original skill. If you buy the skin, which when you buy the skin, you buy it for every element, if you didn't know that. If you buy the skin, it turns into a 4 multi-hit, which is huge on the tanks that have that passive of limiting your damage per HP percentage. Every Enoch, I would build every Enoch. This is a world boss champion, right? Every skill has based off of enemy's max HP, so definitely can hit very hard. Water Torhino is great for a starting healer for like Omen, for example, because he has a damage over time over the first skill. So if you're early game, definitely build. Later game, you don't really necessarily need him because you're going to be able to 1 or 2 shot Omen. So take it as you will. You can build him to 5 stars. Anybody that's like a nat 4 that's good early game, you can build to 5 stars or even 6 stars if you're trying to get that floor 11 CP rating. But definitely somebody you could think about. Let's get into nature. Now, nature has 4'S, or nature 4'S, whatever. Sorry, it's green, right? 4'S Griselda, a great tank for Hide. Different element that you will need, I think for 10 or 11 or whatever the case may be. But the passive is great. So whenever she's below 50%, a heal from a healer class will increase. So that's awesome, right? Easier to transcend because it's a nat 4, right? So if you need a nature tank for some reason, and you don't have a nat 5 nature tank, 4'S Griselda will take you there. She will be good. She has immunity on her second skill, which is also great because she tanks on her first skill. The other Griselda doesn't have it. She taunts and increases defense at the same time. So that's pretty much a defense buff every time you're taking damage, right? Unless it gets stripped or whatever the case may be. And then she has a heal over time on her ultimate. So definitely someone to think about building, especially for tower invasion, okay? Any tank right now that has like a heal over time, so some kind of sustain is huge for tower invasion. And then you get into potentials and stuff like that. It's just ridiculous. 4'S Belladonna's is another great speed nuker that you might want to build if you're getting dupes of that, especially because 4'S servants are definitely high in demand because there's a lot of characters. It's a water heavy meta, right? Because of the PvE dungeons and stuff like that, and the Ishmael and Lenore relationship, and other water Halel, right? So nature is huge, and having a speed nuke like her, is great. Now her leader team skill, it used to be PvP, but now it's World Raid, so I don't know why they changed that. But I feel like if that went back to PvP, she'd be pretty good. But she still is good, and somebody that if you're getting dupes of, definitely think about transcending. Always prioritize Nat 5s over Nat 4s, obviously, for transcendence, but if you are trying to progress, Nat 4s will definitely take you there. 4'S Enoch is another damage dealing enemy boss killer, right? Just like Water Enoch, right? Not as good as Water Enoch, depending on this last skill. The last skill is the one that is only based off max HP, while Water Enoch has every single skill. Now, why I like 4'S Enoch, he's one of the best heal blockers in the game with his passive. So definitely somebody to think about if you do need a heal block, something like that, you know, for PvE progress per se, you know, for like Light Marys or whatever the case may be, if you just can't nuke it down, right? But dealing base, that's a world boss killer, right? Another character to think about for tower invasion only is the other tank, 4'S Torhino. Has a heal over time on this first skill, taunts with a defense buff at the same time, has immunity on the third skill, so it's very good. And then when you start getting potentials in of ignore, defense, resist, things like that, it just can be huge, right? So somebody to think about for tower invasion wise. Obviously, if you're just thinking for tower invasion, that's more like mid game, end game type of. So if it's early game, I wouldn't necessarily build him, but tower invasion is pretty good. 4'S Mary, another great starting healer because of the damage over time on her first skill. She has a big heal, and then she also has a shield on her ultimate. So a good healer, especially if you need that for Omen and you need a nature damage over time. Just remember that if you take Forest into fire, damage over time does not work on the opposite element. Damage over time on a forest character or a forest enemy will do normal damage, and if it's a water enemy, damage over time is actually damage is increased. Again, Kume, speed nuker, definitely, and it's a light, so light and dark characters have higher base skills, so always prioritize light and dark characters, especially if you have dupes, over the regular elements. But if you can transcend the normal elements, obviously do that first, because you're gonna benefit from transcending much more than just having a level 60 light or dark character. Speed nukers are awesome. Light Lara is, if you put Fire Lara and Light Lara together, if you don't combine for Fire Blavatsky, if you don't have a Water Halo, which you should have both because you can combine for them, but Fire Lara and Light Lara are awesome. I mean, damage over time on first skill, which is light, second is dark, and she also has the passive, just like Fire Lara, to apply light damage on skill use. So awesome character. Light Belladonna's, again, Belladonna's speed nuker, awesome to build. Charlotte's, again, build every Charlotte, ignore defense on third skill. Great. All Charlottes are great because of the passive with Spiegel, and then you just put Fire Spiegel with her, and it's just crazy. Light Enoch, a great light tank if you need a light tank, especially when you add like an ally Rem. If you have Water Rem, for example, then you have a great combo right there. And also his second skill is based off of his max HP, so build him super tanky with a ton of HP, right? And it'll do some ton of damage. You know, obviously this is more late game build when you get crit rate into Light Enoch, but definitely someone to build if you can transcend that. Light Usher, second skill, silences all enemies. Needs to be skilled up to work properly, but I use it in tower evasion and silence AoE characters. I use it in regular PvP to silence AoE characters. Just someone great to have. It's defense-based monster. Now has a new passive with Lenore, so that's awesome. Has a self-res when the HP drops to 0, and increases the her defense to level 5 once that passive procs. So pretty good light Usher. Probably one of the only light Ushers besides maybe Fire right now that I would build. Light Raynar is another one where, kind of like Light Usher, I like Light Usher better. But Light Raynar has the silence on all enemies on the second skill, but she's a lot more squishy and doesn't have that great passive, so definitely build Light Usher over Light Raynar. Light Mary, 2 heals, right, and a shield. So definitely someone, you know, she has a single target heal and then a third heal on the third skill. And then she's defense based. So definitely someone to build if you get her, especially early game. She's just great to have. Obviously, Dark Ishmael, free Nat 4 tank, easy to transcend because you can farm the stage when you get to that point in world map for shards. Glancing hit rate, you know, a shield with a defense buff, immunity, a great passive, and then you have Lenore to increase his HP. Definitely someone to build, and definitely a great starter tank all the way to pretty much end game, because he's just a great tank to have. Neutral element, awesome. Dark Kume, another speed nuker, definitely someone you should probably build if you have the dupes. Has the ally high just like all the other ones, and also PvP passive, right? Dark Hearn is definitely debatable whether you should build him or not. We just had a mass invasion of him. You know, Water Halo will outperform him, but if you need a second AoE silence with a high base speed, then definitely somebody to think about, maybe for world battle. If you can, you obviously only can use your Water Halo once, so you can build him as a second. Dark Beldanis again, speed nuke, definitely you should build if you get to that point. Dark Charlotte should probably be better than all the other Charlottes for sure, to focus on, but Dark Charlotte, ignore defense, awesome. Dark Enoch, debatably the best Enoch. Maybe Fire is the best Enoch because of the AoE damage. Definitely debatable. I would say Fire is a little bit better, but Dark, obviously neutral element, has ignore defense on the third skill, max HP of the enemy on the second skill, defense break, increased damage received on the first skill, but the passive is awesome, reducing enemy skill gauge by 25%. Passive with Rem, so speed element for a leader skill, just a great character. Dark Executioner, if you plan on building any Executioner and you have Executioners of Dark, I would build him. And the main reason is every single skill is based off of defense, so you're going to be putting out more damage output as Dark Executioner than any of the other Executioners because of the defense-based damage. So you build him tanky with a lot of defense, does defense-based damage. I don't know the modifiers on that, but obviously just on paper, defense would be better. That is all the time I have today. That's kind of like my quick Nat 4 priority list, I guess you could say. It's not like a tier list. There's already a tier list out there. Those are just the Nat 4s that I would recommend building if you're new to the game, or if you just don't know, because there's some people that wail out and they don't know, right? We just talked about this the other night. Check you guys in the next video. I'm streaming tomorrow night, Wednesday, Saturday night as well, both 10 p.m. Central. Peace. Just kidding. I almost forgot. This is a coupon code video, isn't it? I have a coupon code below in the description for iOS users. Make sure you are on your mobile device when you click on the link below to get that free coupon, right? Heir has offered me 10 summoning stones once again with 500 Valor as well added on to my coupon code, so I appreciate him. If you are looking on how to redeem your coupon code, click on the event tab right on the main page, right? This is for Android. You scroll all the way down. Congrats, Myrtle, on your banner. Scroll all the way down to where it says enter your promo code here, and today's promo code is going to be HL Barcode. Hey, it's me. Hey, look. Coupon code has been redeemed. Go to your mailbox, click on your 10 summons and your 500 energy. Thank you very much. Thank you. So if you are an iOS user, make sure you're on your mobile device or your emulator or whatever the case may be. Click on the link that is down in the description below, the HTTP wave with me 577HL barcode. Click on that link and it will take you directly to the link where you can get the reward and redeem it that way, okay? Enjoy your summons. Let me know what you summoned down below. Again, next video. Peace.